I want to share some of my thoughts and experiences in what I call metabolic independence. So, if you're here, you're already questioning something, and you may realize there's something off in the way that we take care of our health. We have become dependent on pharmaceutical companies to take care of us and for doctors to fix us when we're broken. And if you're at all like me, you realize that there's something fundamentally flawed about that whole model. So I call it the three weirdnesses. So weirdness number one is that we at some point started to believe that we need a drug for every symptom. Weirdness number two is we started to believe that pharmaceutical intervention was normal, that it was just a good thing, that it was normal. And then number three is we started to believe that our bodies are exempt from the laws of nature. Now, if you see the flaw in that reasoning, then you're not wrong, and I just want you to keep watching. So I've been asking these questions for 50 years, and it started when I was in college. Just after college, I decided that I was going to become a vegetarian because I didn't want to kill animals. It was a moral decision more than anything else, but I didn't know anything about taking care of my body or health or any of that stuff. I just stopped eating meat, fish, and chicken. And I got really, really sick. I mean, not like disease, but I was wiped out. I had no energy. I couldn't think clearly. My skin went bad. I was falling asleep on my drive home from work. I was so tired. I was just toast. And then a friend shared something with me, Shaklee vitamins, actually. And I started taking protein and their multivitamin, multimineral supplement, and the result was damn near miraculous. It was night and day. Within a week, I felt like a different person. I felt like I had been reborn. And I don't sell Shaklee vitamins. They're probably a fine product. But I started getting real protein and nutrients, the essential nutrients, not just junk. I was not careful. And I started getting actual nourishment, and everything changed. I got my energy back. My mental clarity came back. I had more energy than I knew what to do with. And I just felt like, again, like I had been reborn. The lesson I learned from that is that your body knows what to do when it gets what it needs. And you're not broken. You are just starved of what you need to function properly. So that led to something else entirely. I started a natural health club when I was in college, which was, pretty ahead of its time. And, we had chiropractors and naturopaths and nutritionists come in and talk to people, and there was a lot of interest. But I've been studying this stuff now for 50 years and experimenting on myself, trying different things, seeing what works, and trying to be deliberate and careful about what I do to see what works. And ever since then, I've been interested in helping other people with the insights that I've gained, because I think there are so many problems that can be solved through proper nutrition, as well as rest and water and exercise and all those other factors that you have to have in order to be healthy. But nutrition in particular made a big impact on me, and I like to share it with other people. So now, 50 years later, I'm starting to see something happen. A global shift, a mindset shift is taking place. So now, decades later, I'm starting to see a shift take place, a groundswell. People are starting to wake up and question the old assumptions about what it takes to be healthy. And we're starting to have some distinctions and seeing the difference between managing symptoms and restoring functions. See, drugs override symptoms, and it's nutrients that restore function. And the difference is either pharmaceutical dependency or metabolic independence. And you're part of that shift because you're watching this, because you sense that something is off and you started asking questions. And you're looking for answers that address root causes, because you started to realize that you can't keep putting band-aids on the same old injury. So, the pharmaceutical first approach is, if you got high blood sugar, you take metformin. If you got high cholesterol, you take statins. If you have trouble losing weight, you start giving yourself GLP-1 shots. High blood pressure, beta blockers, depression, taking antidepressants, can't sleep, Ambien. Every symptom has a prescription. And that's been very good for the pharmaceutical companies. But symptoms are not diseases. Symptoms are signals. And suppressing symptoms is insane. We don't have drug deficiencies. We have nutrient deficiencies. And I'll talk later or some other time about why we have so many nutrient deficiencies when we live amid so much food and so much plenty. But, nobody's asking the right questions, like why? Why is your blood sugar high? Why can't your body regulate its weight? Why is your blood pressure up? I am not anti-medicine. Drugs have saved my bacon on a number of occasions, but I get off them as quickly as I can. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but this is part of the business model. I believe that the people who work for pharmaceutical companies are good people and they want to do good things. It's just that the system, the paradigm is broken. We don't ask, what's my body missing and what causes this dysfunction? We suppress the symptoms, which are typically rooted in nutrient insufficiency, chronic inflammation, insulin resistance, all these things that lead us to being symptomatic without ever healing or fixing the underlying cause. So all these things are addressable without drugs, because the fact is that drugs do not heal. Now, tell that to a doctor and they'll look at you like you've lost your mind. Drugs do not heal, and frankly, physicians do not heal either. The body and nature heal. Drugs override the symptoms. The symptoms are a signal, but you need nutrients to restore proper function. The difference is that one approach makes you dependent, which is the same as renting your health from pharma. The other approach makes you independent. Your body works on its own and it does what it's supposed to do. As I said, I am not anti-medicine. Medicines have saved millions of lives and prevented tremendous amount of suffering and agony. But we've normalized the notion that drugs are what we need to manage chronic metabolic conditions. That's not healthcare. That's pharmaceutical dependency and superstition. So if you're questioning the big pharma approach, you're not alone. That shift is happening globally, and you are a part of it. This is a movement. People everywhere are waking up, and they're choosing metabolic independence and sovereignty, and they're refusing to be used as consumers and lifetime customers, and they're taking back control of their health. So my question is, what made you start questioning? Was it a doctor visit that went the wrong way for you, or a health scare, or do you have experience getting off of a drug and feeling better? I'd really like to know. I want to hear why and when and how you woke up and what woke you up. So tell me your story in the comments. I want to hear what woke you up. And I want to hear your story so that you might wake someone else up. Because we're building a community of questioners here, and we are part of the return to sanity, or what's being called the return to real. So please comment below. I need to hear from you.